flyway legs of the 2012 FIA World Touring Car Championship continues. It's the 9th race weekend of 12 rounds. 17 and 18, though, break new ground. We head to Northern California, to the wine-growing region of the Sonoma Valley. Sears Point, Sonoma Raceway. It's the first time here for the World Touring Car Championship. 4 kilometers of tight, twisty and undulating racetrack is the playground. Well, hello and welcome to Sears Point, Sonoma Raceway for rounds 17 and 18 of the 2012 FIA World Touring Car Championship. After a number of hot and sunny days, little overcast here in the wine country north of San Francisco, but Northern California as beautiful as ever. And the knowledgeable car fans coming out in big numbers to see the first ever appearance of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Well, air temperature 22 degrees yesterday for qualifying. It was up at 28, the track temperature close to 40. So conditions will be slightly different, and for a number of the cars, that may be beneficial. The rear drive BMWs struggled with tyre wear, rotating in the over-the-crest corners in the early sector of the lap. And the front-wheel drive cars may be in tyre trouble later in the race. A lack of track temperature or lower track temperatures may mitigate against that. Well, the entry list is led by the 3-time world champion Yves van Muller, the Frenchman going for his 4th world title, his 3rd consecutive this year. And we've got 2 new additions to the championship, and particularly for US fans, it'll be interesting to see how their driver Rob Holland progresses. He's raced in the US Touring Car Championship and the British Touring Car Championship, and now adds a start in the World Touring Car Championship to his CV. Well, the other driver, Italian Felice Tedeschi, who raced top-flight single-seaters in Formula 3 and Formula 2 in the 1980s, he wrecked his car and his chances of competing in the free test on Friday, destroying it on Turn 3's unforgiving walls. Tom Coronel, one of the front runners in the BMW fold and currently 5th in the world rankings, is struggling. He is down in 20th place on the grid, and like in Slovakia earlier in the season, at a loss to explain why he and his BMW seem to be able to find no pace, where his closest BMW rival, Norbert Michels, for instance, was firmly up in the top 10, making it through into the second period of qualifying that decides the top dozen places on the grid for race 1 and race 2. So Coronel already saving tyres for the next race weekend, which is his second home in Japan, but he will focus on trying to pick up places and hopefully some points here. At the sharp end of the grid, though, a stunning qualifying lap from Swiss driver Alain Menu was enough to put him on pole position. 13th time in his career, 3rd pole position of the season for him. And he just managed to squeeze in front of the man who for some while in qualifying looked as though he would claim pole position for Seat, the Spanish manufacturer, and that was Italy's Gabriele Tarquini. Tarquini has already signed for new entrant Honda for the 2013 season, but he will continue to race in 2012 in his Seat. Menu's lap was a real gem. He said, I don't think I could have done anything better on that lap. All 3 Chevrolet Cruze drivers were in contention for pole in the closing stages of the second period of qualifying. And it was Menu who managed to string together 3 great sectors to produce the gem of a lap that put him at the front of the grid for race 1. The rules here is that the fastest 12 from the first period of qualifying go through. There's his engineer, Albert Lau, who comes from the Bay Area here in San Francisco, though he now works in racing in Europe. So the top 12 go through into Q2, and that decides 1 to 12 on the race 1 grid, and then the top 10 reversed for the race 2 grid. So Menu and Tarquini on row 1, Yves van Muller the champion and his closest points rival Rob Huff in their Chevy Cruzes on row 2. Best of the BMWs, best of Yokohama independent drivers, Norbert Michels in 5th ahead of independent trophy rival Alex McDowell in a Chevy Cruze in 6th position. Further on down the grid, more BMWs. Mehdi Benani from Morocco, Stefano D'Aste, the Italian racing in an Uncle Sam red, white and blue stars and striped suit. Just missing out on Q2, James Nash in the Chevrolet, just 26 thousandths away from 12th fastest place. He and teammate in the Focus, he and teammate Tom Chilton in the other Aon team Ford were both quick in the cooler conditions of free practice yesterday, but as the track and the air temperatures climbed in the hot afternoon temperatures of qualifying, then they couldn't quite find the grip. Well, the Yokohama Trophy contenders are a very major part of this FIA World Touring Car grid. And then you have the factory drivers, the Aon Team Ford duo. This is James Nash, who will start in 13th place. From 13th on down in qualifying, that decides your position for both of these World Touring Car Championship races today at Sonoma. So he will start in unlucky number 13 on both occasions. That places him pretty much in the middle of the grid. In the Yokohama Trophy, it is the best qualifier, Norbert Mikulits, who is on pole position as far as those contenders are concerned. And his closest rival, the Spaniard Pepe Oriola, really struggled in qualifying. He is down in 18th place on the grid. So Mikulits must look at this as a big point-scoring opportunity.
Additives and motor oils made in Germany. Liqui Moly.
Delivering Formula One to the world. That's the speed of yellow. DHL Express. Excellence simply delivered.
ATS high-tech wheels, world champions with Chevrolet.
If you're going go-kart, get a Dino. After 50 years in the business, Dino go-karts are still some of the best in the world. See more on dino.dk.
Shanghai. There are many reasons to visit the cultural center of Eastern Asia and China's most vibrant city. And this November, there's yet another. The FIA World Touring Car Championship debuts at the Shanghai International Circuit. Come and share the excitement of a weekend of unforgettable racing in an unforgettable city. The FIA WTCC in Shanghai from the 2nd to the 4th of November.
Liqui Moly. Additives and motor oils made in Germany.
Out of the shadows, nurtured by Europe's biggest clubs, now is their chance in a knockout competition of 24 teams, showcasing the next generation of football. Now is their time to step out of the shadows and into the spotlight. The Next Gen Series, Wednesday at 1900 with Inter Milan against Dortmund, live on Eurosport.
Japan quality. Yokohama, your tire.
Japan, he will be in a new Honda Civic. Well, Thiago Montero has signed up for the new Honda program, as has Gabriele Tarquini. Montero will race in Suzuka and the remaining rounds of the championship in the Singleton Honda that will be entered at the end of this year. Alex McDowell, former British Touring Car Championship independent winner. He races in the Yokohama Trophy for another British team, Bamboo Engineering. Now, their Chevy Cruisers are a different colour to the factory-based Ray Mallock run cars, but other than that, they are ostensibly identical. The team set them up as they wish, but the equipment levels are the same. So McDowell with a very quick car under his feet, under his backside, and left the opening race weekend of his World Touring Car campaign in Monza back in March as a joint championship leader in the Yokohama chase. But the Yokohama Trophy points lead is currently, and has for a large portion of this season, rested with Norbert Michelis. He's an outright race winner in his Zengo Motorsport BMW. The easy to spot orange and black colours of the Hungarian team. And there is Norbert in his habitual pre-race pose, almost looking like he's asleep, just focusing all his attention now in the build-up to the start of this race. And he will be starting from 5th place, which brings us then to the sharp end of the grid, as habitually has been the case. The best car in the championship, the 1.6 turbo Chevy Cruze, is up at the far end of the grid. This is Rob Huff, lies 2nd in points, and the English driver starting on the outside of row 2 of the grid in 4th spot. Well, Huff could do with a win. His last came in the 2nd race in Curitiba, but it had been not since May, Salzburg, Austria, that he had last stood on the top step of the podium. He's won 3 races this year, whereas teammate Ivar Muller, who you just saw, has won half a dozen. Muller still with only a slender points lead. Well, overhead, the I was going to say skydivers, the more batwing flyers are dropping into visitors. Another novelty for European racers. There's Marcello Lotti in the dark jacket, the Italian who is the head of KSO, the championship organisers. Jaime Puig just been bumped out of the way there by the cameraman, the head of Seat Sport. And here is Ivar Muller, 3-time World Touring Car champion, the man who carries the #1 plate into the 2012 series and leads the standings this year as well. An extraordinarily combative driver, very, very aggressive and very, very quick, likes a nice loose car. He's quite capable of handling anything the car throws at him. He's a 10-time ice racing champion in Europe. Among his other victories and successes, he raced in single-seaters right up to Formula 3000, level below Formula 1 when he was a younger driver. And of course Gabriele Tarquini, who starts on the outside, the front row of the grid. Spider-Man did race in Formula 1 for a number of seasons, never for the greatest of teams, but when you've got that kind of experience and that kind of ability, converting into touring car success, not quite a given, but certainly something that Tarquini has done very well. Former world champion in this World Touring Car Championship, multiple champion in Italy and in other classes of racing in Europe. And he's been a long-time racer for Honda. He's driven pretty much every Honda touring car that has ever existed. And he has already done over 1,500 kilometers, around 1,000 miles of testing in a new Honda Civic that will join the championship from the next 2 races in Japan onwards, in prelude to a full team effort next year, which we believe will be a 3-strong Honda factory effort, and if rumour is correct, possibly also a 2-car satellite team. And here is our pole man, Switzerland's Alain Menu, 13th career pole in the World Touring Car Championship, and like his teammates, Ivar Muller, the points leader, and Rob Huff, who lies 2nd, very much in the chase for the title this season. And the skydivers just dropping below us in the race control tower and down onto the grid. And that will bring our pre-race festivities to an exciting close, as the drivers will now turn their focus to race 1 in Sonoma and a rolling start to World Touring Cars in the USA.
ATS high-tech wheels, world champions with Chevrolet.
The road to freedom. Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
many reasons to visit the cultural center of Eastern Asia and China's most vibrant city. And this November, there's yet another. The FIA World Touring Car Championship debuts at the Shanghai International Circuit. Come and share the excitement of a weekend of unforgettable racing in an unforgettable city. The FIA WTCC in Shanghai, from the 2nd to the 4th of November.
The WTCC is brought to you by Euronics, best of electronics.
And in 20th place. Yokohama Trophy leader Norbert Michaelis, the orange and black car, goes through your shot. Cars are on the formation lap, ready for the rolling start of round 17 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. And Norbert Michaelis, the points leader, 5th on the grid, with a great opportunity to open up a little bit of an advantage over his rivals in the Yokohama Trophy. Technically second man, Pepe Oriola, the Barcelona driver, down at the bottom of the top 20. And there, the Zengo team on board with Stefano D'Aste, another Yokohama Trophy contender and former title winner for Vika Sport and BMW. 4 wins under his belt so far this season. Michaelis with 3 in the Yokohama Trophy. Filing through the chicane at turn 9, and now they will line up side by side. And the race to start, the drivers know that they must roll up to the start line through the grid markings. You're not allowed to pick and choose your positions. You must be rolling through the grid markings for your respective side of the track. Menu with the red and the white cross, the Swiss flag on his roof, in the blue Chevrolet, and Tarquini outside front row starter with the Italian colours on his red and white Seat. So here we go then, the race is about to get underway. The starter gives them the lights, and immediately with the red, white and blue of France on the roof, Ivan Muller jumps to try and get around from Rob Huff. Tarquini on the inside up to 2, contact with Menu, Tarquini's on the dirt, he goes out wide, Muller is through into second place. Pole sitter Menu hangs on, off in the background is Stefano D'Aste, that is Fernando Monche, and also, Darlow Young, the yellow car, Alberto Cecchi, and one of the Fords. Looks like it might have been the better qualifier, James Nash. No, it wasn't. It was Tom Chilton. So, Chevrolet cruises 1, 2 and 3. The blue Chevys are the factory cars. Chevrolet Racing entries run by RML Ray Malek Limited that developed and built the car and the engine in this 1.6 turbo cruise. Down through the carousel they run. Norbert Michaelis in 4th place. The orange and black BMW is the lead Yokohama Trophy driver. Gabriele Tarquini shuffled down to 5th place ahead of Yokohama driver Alex McDowell. All the cars, of course, on the Yokohama control tyre. Alberto Cecchi, 3-point turning his way out of trouble. Alexei Dudicalo in the second Lukoil Seat has gone off. That looks like he's down at the carousel, so that might have been damaged from the first corner as well. But it's Menu, the pole sitter, that leads. Over the brow, down the run into 9A, the chicane here. Car getting very twitchy under braking on what are still cold tyres. Rob Huff in 3rd place. This is not good for Huff. He needs to be in front of teammate Muller if he can to try and close the gap on the points leader who runs 2nd. There's Tarquini's red and white car. McDowell with the Union flag of Great Britain on his roof. He's in 6th place. 2nd in the Yokohama Trophy standings in the race at the moment. Behind him, another independent driver, Franz Engsler, ahead of Thiago Montero in 8th position. But we ride on board with Ivan Muller. Dab on the brakes, still not fully confident of the grip there in turn 1. You've got to get over hard to the left to make it over the brow at 2. Climbing over 3. Dropping down in the dip, and Muller positioning his cars. You see Dudicalo on the right-hand side. Here's a replay of the start. Contact with Muller, with Tarquini and Menu. As Muller got up into 3rd place. Tarquini drifting off wide with dirt on his tyres. D'Aste spins behind, and as everybody tries to avoid and gets checked up, Charles Eng got on the brakes, and there was a 4-car pile-up behind him. Look how early Muller jumped, desperate to try and squeeze in between these two, and then probably thankfully didn't. So close behind Tarquini, he backs off a little early, fearing the worst, and his fears are realised. The accident came not to him but away from him. On board, bumping into the back of Thiago Monteiro. On the inside is Mechli Benani, off on the dirt with Stefano D'Aste looping around and avoid that marshal's post. Corner workers don't like it when you join them with your racing car, and rightly so. Another look at turn one, D'Aste off on the left-hand side, and a lot of bunching up behind the four-car pileup. And the Ford that we lost was that of Tom Chilton. He's down in 17th place. James Nash made it through into the top 10. Ford Focus in its first year in the World Touring Car Championship, brand new car, built to more strenuous and restrictive regulations than the Chevy Cruze was when it was designed some 4 years or so ago before being introduced to the championship. New Honda be designed to the same tighter set of regulations as well. Menu Muller Huff from Michelitz, Tarquini and McDowell. Looking down there at James Nash. 14 car is the Aeon Ford Focus. Again, a familiar shape to US drivers. It is a global body shape used in Europe, the Far East, the Middle East, the States, South America. Oh, and Huff getting wide over the brow. They're going 3 wide down to corner 4. That can't be good news. And does that mean that Menu is starting to hold up Muller? Huff looked like he was almost having to take avoiding action there as he got squirrely over the brow, down into the carousel. Muller's having a lunge on the inside, got to avoid contact. He's had teammate Menu off a couple of times before while dicing for the lead. Once last year notably, and another time this year already. And Muller, one of the all-time great touring car drivers, particularly in the front-wheel drive era. Third place, Rob Huff. A moment of worry there for the Chevrolet boss. They seem to have sorted themselves out. It is by no means over, though, this battle. 13-lap race with the potential to add up to 2 more racing laps if there is a safety car period. And new Ford and Chevrolet bosses are here this weekend watching the action. This will, however, be the last official year of the Chevy Cruze factory team in the World Touring Car Championship. They won both constructors and drivers' titles last year and are looking to do the same again in their 6th year in the World Touring Car Championship as a great swan song. Looking back from our leader Menu, there's Muller and Huff, 2nd and 3rd. Menu leads them up the hill here at Sonoma Raceway, tucking in tight to the driver's left and then hard right over the brow, using the curb in corner 2. Dropping down the hill under pressure from his teammate. The French colours on the roof of the car we ride with now. Ivan Muller, Menu taking too much curb, big slide. Muller's line was tidier, and he's again all over Menu. The Swiss driver who leads the race is feeling the pressure, and he's holding up Menu and Muller. Charles ENG, who did his first ever race driving experiences here at Sonoma when he was studying at San Francisco U, is off and through goes Muller, and Menu's going to try and close the door, but Huff's inside him, and Menu loses out 1st to 3rd. The Swiss was in trouble, and Muller didn't take long to capitalise. He is a real hunter-killer of our Muller. He smells blood in the water in 1 part in a millionth. When a car is struggling in front of him, he will do everything he can to get by. And Menu was certainly struggling. Now, are the front-wheel drive cars starting to run into tyre problems? They were predicting a lot of understeer, a lot of push coming in from maybe lap 5 onwards, but it's not as hot as yesterday, so that might be not happening yet. Looking back from Norbert Michelitz at the car we just rode with, Gabriele Tarquini, the Italian, in 5th place. But it is now Muller and Huff, and where's Menu gone? Menu has vanished. Looking out the window, Menu is cruising on board with Alain Menu. This is a major problem for him. Now, these cars are paragons of reliability, but he is heading into the pits. Pole position was not a good omen for Alain Menu this weekend. And with the competition at the front of the point standings so fierce, none of the Chevrolet drivers can afford a 0 score, because that will put them right on the back foot. Ivan Muller leads this race then. 7 race wins already this season. And in second place is teammate Rob Huff. Third now on the podium is the lead Yokohama Independent Trophy driver Norbert Mikulits in the orange and black BMW. It looks like he has got the markings of a podium finisher because he's got the advantage over Gabriele Tarquini, and the Italian cannot close. I wondered whether it was a puncture on Menu's car. It is not. I'll watch again from Rob's point of view. Menu leads from Ivan Muller. We ride with Rob Huff. No, we're not. We're with Menu, aren't we? Wow. Okay, do not know what happened there. That was after Menu had been passed for the lead. That was clearly more than driver error. Again, look at Ivan Muller and Rob Huff. The car right on the limit of adhesion. And the style for driving a front-wheel drive car fast is control the front tyres. The rear should follow. Tarquini off in the background. Didn't get it stopped for the chicane. Is he running into brake problems now? Norbert Mikulits is starting to close on the leaders, and through might come Alex McDowell. He's on the outside of Tarquini. The Italian is struggling to get the car stopped. McDowell's going to cut back on the inside. He's going to have to run the long way around the outside up to turn 1, but he's got the advantage on the Italian, and I wonder whether Tarquini is struggling with braking. Well, he's certainly going just as quickly up the hill or into turn 1. But McDowell's going to put himself in a difficult position on the outside and then thinks better of it. Wise move by the young Briton. He remains in 5th place, but he remains a thorn in Gabriele Tarquini's side. Muller and Huff both setting fast sectors in the first part of last lap, but the quickest man on the track at the moment is the 3rd placed Hungarian driver Norbert Mikulits. Tarquini in 4th. Under pressure from McDowell, who is quicker. This could be a big change around for Alex McDowell if he doesn't drift out too wide. Your race leader is Ivan Muller, 2nd place in a similar Chevy as Rob Huff. This is the battle for 4th place. The red and white Lukoil Seat, that is Gabriele Tarquini, former Grand Prix driver, former World Touring Car Champion, in one of his last few races for the Seat team before joining Honda for the 2013 campaign. Behind him, young British up-and-coming driver Alex McDowell, former champion in the independence class in the British Touring Car Championship in his first year in the series. There go the lead trio. 6th position, just behind McDowell, is Tiago Monteiro, ex-Grand Prix driver, the Portuguese in his last race weekend in a Seat. It's a self-funded Seat. He has raised the sponsorship himself to get the car hired and run for him this season. But as a signed Honda factory driver, he will race in Japan, China and Macau as a Honda factory driver. Well, Muller and Huff now stabilising the gap to Mikulits in 3rd place. Whoa, and Tarquini just wide again. Couldn't get the speed off up the hill onto the dirt. McDowell's going to be pushing him from 2 all the way to 3. It's going to be tough to pass here. But McDowell, again, like Muller with Menu in front of him struggling, McDowell knows that the car in front is in trouble. All he's got to do is find a way of pushing the knife in further, extracting more pain from Tarquini. Incidentally, look at the order further down. 9th place, Tom Coronel. The BMW driving Dutchman started in 20th on the grid. He already had suggested he was going to save tyres and just try and pick up some points. He's up in the points already and absolutely flying. Battle for 4th place is taking our attention, but there's a great battle behind 8th, 9th and 10th. 3 BMWs, Mehdi Benani, Tom Coronel and Stefano D'Aste, all dicing for position. Gabriele Tarquini seems now to be driving around whatever problem ails his Seat. And there is the group little further back, just behind D'Aste. Here then is the battle for 8th position. The Moroccan, Mehdi Benani, right behind him from 20th on the grid. Tom Coronel, Benani outbrakes himself. He'll give the position away to Coronel, I think. because he gained a little bit of an advantage there. Coronel on the attack in the red, white and blue car. He'll use the outside line here and then force Benani in tight early on. That means Coronel carries more speed in. Now he can cut back. He'll have to go around the long way, and he hasn't got the drive to do it. Benani keeps his nose in front. This is 8th, 9th and 10th place, the last points paying places. Behind them, Stefano D'Aste. Benani battling for supremacy in the Yokohama Independence Trophy, as is D'Aste. Benani with a couple of unfortunate results recently. This is a good return to form. There's Aldo Prio, Tom Coronel's team boss. Also runs the car of Alberto Cecchi, which retired on the first lap. Coronel really pushing hard. And like Muller pushing Huff, like McDowell pushing Tarquini, Coronel knows he's in the faster car. His problem is Stefano D'Aste. Benani drifts out very wide. Coronel trails down inside in the carousel. There's contact. Benani has to get onto the brake pedal to save the spin. He tried to close up to the apex. There was a car alongside. Now, in Formula One steward terms, there was a car alongside. His wheel was alongside the rear wheel of the car of Benani, and so he should have conceded the corner. He's out on the dirt. He was desperately trying to get the door closed. Coronel could go nowhere, was right up against the inside. Benani and Coronel making contact. The man on the outside, they're always going to be the one to fall out of bed. Sometimes experience in racing tells you you've got to concede a corner when it's lost. Alain Menu is back out of the pit lane. Why? What mileage could he possibly gain from doing more laps? Well, there is a second race that follows soon, and if he can make sure his car is perfect now, then he has got a good chance of getting a good result in race 2, and that will be vital, because a double zero here will effectively rule him out of championship contention. Race leader Ivan Muller up the hill into turn 2 here at Sonoma. Rob Huff in second place. In the background, Norbert Mikulitz getting no closer to them. Huff again on the last lap, the fastest man on track. Looking further down the order, Rob Holland from the USA up to 14th place from 24th on the grid. And our pit lane reporter Ben Constangiris tells me it was power steering issues for Alain Menu, which explains why he suddenly could not make it through a corner and straight-lined the run down from corner 8. These cars have an electric assistance. It's not an old-fashioned hydraulic pump, because that weighs and takes power from the engine. It is electrically powered. And as every car owner knows of modern cars, unless you park it in a wall or bits are obviously lying in the road, generally what's gone wrong with the car is electronic or electrical. Looking here at James Nash, number 14, Ford Focus, and he is chasing Mehdi Benani. Benani was down in 13th. He's got by Nash now for 12th position, and the English driver trying to regain that place from the Moroccan. Behind him is the Bamboo Engineering Chevrolet of the American driver Rob Holland. Holland's lap times starting to get into a pretty competitive groove. 150.7 last time round. These two were doing 52s and 53s. So Holland in a position perhaps to close in on this dicing pair. Although Benani has pulled away now from the Ford. Looks like James Nash's tyres might be going off. Car 26 with the red, white and green of Italy. Stefano D'Aste lying in 9th place, chasing Tom Coronel. Oh, and Coronel just in danger of kicking up too much dust on driver's left, climbing up through corner 1. D'Aste having a look up the inside, but nowhere close enough to make a pass. There's Pepe Oriola, a young Spanish driver. He lies in 10th place. He is 3rd, 4th perhaps in our Yokohama Independent Trophy standings. The stewards will look at the ramifications of the turn 1 incident on the first lap after this race. Until then, everybody who can continue will do. From 20th on the grid, the blue and white BMW of Tom Coronel currently in 8th position. And he and chasing Stefano D'Aste lapping in the 1 minute 50 margin, 150.2, 150.1. And the cars in front in the 48s and 49s. So despite Coronel's progress and the flamboyance of D'Aste's driving style as ever, they do not have the pace to close the gap much to the cars in front. The car you just caught a glimpse of was Franz Engstler. He's in 7th place and he is 3rd placed of the Yokohama Independent Trophy cars in the race. The Roal Motorsport team perhaps a little bit disappointed that Tom Coronel can't make more progress. He may well have had the best of his hard-work tyres earlier on. Looking here at Norbert Mikulits, 3 seconds behind the leader, now 2.2 behind Huff and Chilton, down the inside of Holland. So Rob Holland, the US driver, with Tom Chilton diving inside him for 14th place. And as you can see from the damage on Tom Chilton's car, he was one of those involved in that turn 1 incident on the opening lap of the race. Chilton's younger brother Max races in the Formula 1 support category GP2 and won the first race of the weekend at Singapore in the darkness of Saturday night their time, Saturday morning US time. So Tom was up nice and early, watching brother Max claim victory, and then came to the racetrack for his own race day. Alain Menu still circulating in his car after his pit call. He's 4 laps down, 3 laps down on the leaders. So it does look as though his car is okay. Incident between Menu, though, and the number 3 car of Gabriele Tarquini under investigation. Or cars 3, that's Tarquini, and 8 Menu are under investigation. I'm not sure what incident between the 2 of them might be under investigation, but Menu coming together with Tarquini at the start. Got to look at that as it's the first lap of the race, it's the first corner, you know. They were both trying to get to the apex at turn 2. Can't see that anybody deserves a penalty for that particularly. 2 drivers converging, as is often the case, particularly in the opening lap of a race. Well, the stewards here have a driver advisor. This time it's former Grand Marshal of the Australian Grand Prix, Tim Schenken, himself a former Grand Prix driver, who will be hopefully adding sage words to their thoughts and deliberations. Black car there is the Seat Leon of Tom Boardman. He's in 10th place, and yellow flags are out because Pepe Oriola has crawled to a halt by the pit road. Well, he's going to jump out and abandon ship. This is lap 12 of 13. 1 lap to go after this, and the race director Mirek Bartos might, I can see him beside me standing and looking out of the window, looking down to see what the situation is. He might leave the car there and just protect it by a local yellow rather than scramble the safety car for the final lap of the race. It's the opposite side of a fairly wide piece of this Sonoma Raceway to the racing line, so it should be safe. Oh, little lock up there from Alex McDowell, and that might cost him a place. Thiago Monteiro in the white and black Seat is right behind him. This is a penultimate battle for 5th position. And Monteiro taking advantage of McDowell's mistake into 7 and 7A. Got in too hot into 7, drifted out far too wide, and 7A turns tighter on itself. Down into the chicane, McDowell still just in front. Monteiro, again, sensing the opportunity to make a pass and climb a little further up the order into 5th spot. It looks like McDowell has steadied the ship and the nerves and repulsed the assault from Monteiro. Thiago didn't have the pace. It is just local yellows there. Last lap then for Ivan Muller, the Frenchman leading the race all the way after the car of Alain Menu fell lame with power steering issues. Rob Huff right behind him in 2nd place. Norbert Mikulits will ease off on the final lap, I'm sure, and consolidate 3rd place for himself. He'll be the top finisher in the Yokohama Trophy, ahead of Alex McDowell and Franz Engstler. They'll claim points for 1, 2 and 3 in that independence battle. 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is how they score the old Formula 1 approach. Oh, and Huffy having a bit of a late last lap lunge down into the carousel. Don't think he's settling for second place. They only settle for position once they've passed the checkered flag. If Muller makes the mistake of drifting offline anywhere, Huff will be up the inside like a rat up a drain pipe. Out of 7A. Now this is a one-line piece of racetrack here. In a high downforce single-seater, this is very fast and hang on. In these cars, it's very fast and hang on and let the tail do what it wants. So Huff assaulting the curbs in the middle. As they get to the chicane at 9A, it is still Ivan Muller, and that pretty much has got to wrap up the race for him. Unless he bins it in corner 11, he will be the first man to the checkered flag. And again, he will add a few more points to his advantages. 25 for a win, 18 for second place. So the 18-point margin will have a further 7 added to it, and he will finish race 1 here 25 points in front of Rob Huff, because the yellows are out, no last corner pass. Muller wins it from Huff. It's Chevrolet 1 and 2. And applause in the RML team. Norbert Mikulits third from Gabriele Tarquini. McDowell Montero 5th and 6th, and then Engstler, Coronel, Daste 7th, 8th and 9th. And it'll be Tom Boardman who picks up the final point in 10th place. Another Yokohama Trophy driver. And he will be 4th in the Yokohama Trophy points. Oliver Muller, as so often when in front, clinging tenaciously to the lead. And Rob Huff, if it had been a rival from a different team, might have been able to be a bit more vigorous, but not against his own teammate. Saw the Zengo team boss looking pretty happy with that. Norbert Mikulits, his man, in 3rd place, and just as importantly for them, they do like to be on the overall podium, but it is maximum points for him in the Yokohama Trophy Independence category.
Additives and motor oils made in Germany. Liqui Moly.
ATS high-tech wheels, world champions with Chevrolet.
The road to freedom. Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
If you're going go-kart, get a Dino. After 50 years in the business, Dino go-karts are still some of the best in the world. See more on dino.dk.
Liqui Moly. Additives and motor oils made in Germany.
Rally round for Bulgaria. It's another first in the IRC calendar, with some tricky mountain roads, 2 devilish downhill stages, and a super special in the city of Sliven. The Intercontinental Rally Challenge, Saturday at 2300 on Eurosport.
Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
Well, fans in the bleachers here at Sonoma Raceway, having enjoyed their first ever taste of World Touring Car Championship race action. Round 17 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship at Sears Point. And again, a first for a World Touring Car driver into Victory Circle. Normally in Europe, you just park your car in a specified place in the pit lane and all the drivers troop off for post-race interviews. But here, being in the States, we have Victory Circle. And Ivan Muller will wriggle out of his Chevrolet Cruze. Roof and door bars to protect against side intrusion. And punches the air with delight. That is win number 8 of the season for Muller. So that is Really starting to be quite a remarkable season he's having. This is race 17. And he has now got a nearly 50% winning record, which strikes me as being just a little greedy. Well, he will tell you that although he was in front all the way, it was by far from being an easy race. There's his girlfriend, Justine Monnier, from the downhill skier. Well, let's get down to Ivar Muller. Our pit reporter, Ben Constanduros, is standing by.
Ivar, congratulations. Yet another victory in the World Touring Car Championship, this time in Victory Lane here in the USA. A tough race for you.
Yeah, a tough race, you know, to start fourth, especially on inside on this track for the first corner is not the best place. But I did a good start, then I used every opportunity I had, and I'm pleased to win here. It's a Chevrolet country, and I take some point for the championship, so a good race.
Rob kept you honest though, he seemed to be really close in your mirrors throughout the race.
Of course, we have the same car, he knows my setup, so of course he's close.
Thanks very much.
Well, they are close on track and off, close rivals at everything. Ivar Muller taking another race win. That moves his career tally on to 29 victories now. And it's not beyond the bounds of possibility he could add to that again later on this afternoon. Top 10 from race 1 are reversed, but of course he was in 3rd place on the grid, so he will start in 8th position. And from there, with perhaps not quite such quick cars at the front end of the grid, he has still got a possibility of making progress right to the top. There is the result outside the top 10. Benani, the Ford of Chilton, Rob Holland in his Chevrolet Cruze, the damaged Darrell O'Young, he got going again, as did Charles Eng. Pepe Oriola retired before the finish. James Nash 4 laps down, as was Alain Menu. But again, as long as their cars are healthy, their grid positions for race 2 are pre-assigned by qualifying. And the idea of that is that if you have damage in race 1, it doesn't necessarily destroy your entire race weekend. Of course, the downside is if you have a problem in qualifying, it does carry on for the rest of the weekend. Drivers' point standings now, it is a 25-point margin between Ivar Muller, the leader, and Rob Huff. Alain Menu drops to 60 points adrift with a big fat 0 for his afternoon's work so far. And Tom Coronel, well, in Hungary, which he was writing off, he started 21st, finished 6th in race 1. Here he started 20th, finished 8th in race 1, so not perhaps quite as meteoric a rise, but he was certainly aided by some of the excitement in turn 1 in front of him and a number of cars going off the road. I'm not sure if he'd got past them before that or got past them after that, but either way, Tom Coronel's onboard video of his race is going to be fairly dramatic. Part of Pepe Oriola's problem might just be what you're looking at there. A lot of the front end of that Seat Leon is missing. Now, it's vital for airflow through the cooling for the brakes and for the engine coolers, the radiator, the oil and water radiators. It might just be that Oriola's car overheated chronically. You'd think with the bumper out of the way there'd be more airflow, but often when it hits a flat surface like a radiator, it's so turbulent it actually stalls and doesn't cool the car down efficiently. There's our young Hungarian Norbert Mikulec. And let's take a look then at the highlights of round 17 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Well, it's starting with confusion at race 1. Cars dropping off at the first corner and all the way around the opening lap. Battles through the field. A track that's tough to pass on. Ivar Muller took over the lead from Alain Menu and held it to the finish ahead of teammate Rob Huff. So our race winner is Ivar Muller with a particularly appropriate, I wonder if that was an airport duty-free shop purchase, star-spangled shades. We had the singing of the national anthem with Old Glory out in the drag strip here at Sonoma Raceway as the cars were on the grid in their pre-race preparations. everybody really looking forward to their trip to Sonoma, to the USA. There's Rob Huff, second spot. Norbert Michaelis, third place. And our race winner is Ivan Muller. The Yokohama Trophy winner is Norbert Michaelis as well. He's already there in third place overall. Otherwise, he would join the top three on the podium. Now we have the anthem of our race-winning driver and our race-winning constructor.
Now the anthem of the United States of America. And to give the trophies, the Raceway president.
So the anthem of the United States of America for winning constructor Chevrolet, and the Marseillaise, the French national anthem for our race-winning driver Ivan Muller. Trophy for third place presented by Steve Page, the president and general manager of Sonoma Raceway here at Sears Point, California. Norbert Michaelis, third place overall, and he will also receive the trophy for top driver in the Yokohama Trophy, the independent standings. BRDC, British Racing Drivers Club member and Gold Star winner Rob Huff takes the trophy for second place from Steve Page, to the applause of the RML Chevrolet mechanics. And our race winner, Ivan Muller, Frenchman, takes win number 8 of the season. And the winning constructor, Chevrolet, trophy presented by Nicholas Craw from Acus.
The Yokohama Trophy, Robert Nicholas.
The Yokohama Trophy will be presented to winning driver Norbert Michaelis, who's the top independent driver, which is non-factory supported driver. And Mr. Fred Coplin, Director of Marketing for Yokohama Tire here in California, to present the trophy. Lots of fans down in the pit and paddock area, I think, really relishing the chance to see European race teams and race cars of all different varieties on show here. And then packing the grandstands for the race. Again, you can see they're all already out of the bleachers and down in the finishing area.
Just a matter of a few minutes.
Kind of lunchtime as well. So there'll be some big queues at the concession stands. There have been for most of the day. Drivers now go off for their post-race press conference in the nearby media centre. And team members collecting the trophy so the drivers don't A, drop them, B, leave them somewhere they shouldn't have. And the cloud seems to be clearing away here at Sonoma as well. Temperature is rising. It's been a warm day and now the sun is up. It is getting hotter still. Well, down in the permanent garage facilities built for NASCAR is where the World Touring Car field is prepared. Of course, cars are down on pit road at the moment. And then behind them, the AutoGP single-seat cars, which are racing here this weekend as well. And also the Trofeo Maseratis, the V8 Maserati Sports, which have attracted a lot of attention. I guess the presence of Patrick Dempsey might have had something to do with that. Who can tell? Well, the drivers' point standings there, as you can see. James Nash and Tom Chilton, the Ford drivers, slowly creeping their way back up the order. Now let's hear from our top 3 drivers, and we'll start with our race winner, Ivan Muller.
Ivan, congratulations on yet another victory. Firstly, took us to a dramatic lap 1.
Yeah, you know, we knew the first corner can be an issue, especially here. It's better to be outside than inside, especially on the rolling start. So we were very concerned with Alan, and it was a small contact between Alan and Gabriel, and I used the opportunity to pass one of them. And then I don't know what happened to Alan, but yeah, I could pass him.
How come you could pass him? Because obviously you guys are very, very close in speed all the way through the races. Your move, though, did look like you had a bit more speed. Yeah, that was two laps. I think I was a little bit faster than Alan. And then certainly, I don't know, he slowed down for certain of a reason. So that's probably the reason why I could pass him so easily, I would say. I take just the opportunity to say, Eric, merci, la victoire, elle est pour toi, tu nous manques. Thank you very much.
A little message there in French for Eric Neve, the former boss of Chevrolet Racing, who moved on to pastures new a couple of weeks ago, said, this win is for you, we miss you. And yeah, we can all echo that. Eric, a very popular member of the paddock. Now let's hear from our second place driver, Rob Huff.
Rob, the end of that race, you looked like you were faster than Van, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we just had the measure of him on a few corners, but it's very tight around here, so overtaking is a real problem. But you know, I think I followed Ivan through on the move with Alan, and once we were out of turn 6, I didn't see Alan again, so I presume he had a problem going into 6, and that's why we had the opportunity to sort of go past him. But yeah, tough race, always tough when you know, your teammates are in front of you or behind you, and yeah, I could just nibble away at him, but never got the chance to make a move. So
certainly much more hopes than you had this morning, where you were a little bit worried about your pace. For race 2, then you're the first of the Chevys ahead of your teammates. What are your hopes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm ahead of them, so I hope to stay ahead of them. But you know, we don't know. I mean, Norby had some good pace behind us there. Obviously, he's starting ahead of us. We've got 4 BMWs on the first 4 places for the next race, so they're going to get great launches off the start. We'll just have to see what we can do. But I've got to be careful, because I've got to be trying to overtake, but not you know, hanging myself out to dry so that Ivan or Alan can come through. So it's going to be tough.
Thanks very much, Rob.
Cheers.
Well, there you go. The reverse grid is always one for the mental athlete as well as for the physical athlete. And Norby, well, that's the name by which Norbert Mikulits is universally known and cheered to the echo by his Hungarian fans. He's our Yokohama Trophy top scorer and 3rd overall.
Norby, independent wins have come your way quite a lot recently, but you've always said you wanted to be on the podium with the main boys as well. Here you are. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, I had a little bit of luck. And I was expecting the car to be fast during the race, and it happened. We had some problems with the rear tires towards the end of the race, so that's why I had to leave a little bit of the gap to the guys in front. But I hope the changes we will make to the car for the second race will pay off. So I will attack in the second race too, because I think another podium finish can be possible.
With this BMW, you've seen some drivers having real difficulties this weekend. You seem to have got it sorted, so could we possibly see you on the top step here?
I don't know, there's a possibility, but I think the fight for the championship, for the overall championship, is going to tighten up, so I'm expecting aggression from behind. So it's difficult. A lot of things have to happen for me to step onto the top, but obviously I will do my best, so hope so.
Thanks very much, Norby.
Thank you.
Again, as he rightly says, there will be the lead championship contenders right behind him and around him on the grid. So run up to the first corner is going to be entertaining for all concerned. And the race 2 grid, well, the top 10 out of the 12 that go through into Q2 are reversed, and that means 10th fastest qualifier Stefano D'Aste, the independent driving Italian. He will start on pole. From Mehdi Banani, Franz Engstler and Tiago Montero will start his last race for Seat, at least for the foreseeable future, in 4th spot ahead of McDowell. And then Mikulits, Huff, Muller, Tarquini and Menu, the pole sitter for race 1, whose car does seem, on the basis of his last couple of lap times, to be back to fighting fitness. On the sector times, Menu fastest in sector 1, 2 and 3. And yet somehow Ivan Muller managed to find the fastest time. I'm not reading that quite the same as it's coming out on the right-hand column. I'm not too sure how that works. If Menu had the fastest sector in all 3 sectors, then presumably you would imagine he might have had the fastest time. So we'll move on from there. and contemplate our second race and hope that there will be a little less damage and destruction in the first corner the next time around Sonoma Raceway, California. Race 2 has a standing start. Time now for the teams to take a quick breather, and the drivers too, before the frantic 15 minutes of repair time to prepare the cars for the second encounter with Sears Point Raceway. Well, plenty of crowds still in the grandstands and an awful lot milling around down below the race control tower where our commentary position is. In and out of the cars and in and out of all the sites on offer here. Let's take a look then at the standings of the Yokohama Independence Trophy. Well, Norbert Michelis claimed maximum points there, but Pepe Oriola scored 0 as his car ground to a halt a couple of laps from the end. That allows Stefano D'Aste to close a little in third place, and his other rivals behind as well. Alex Medal scored strongly, Franz Engsler as well. Alberto Cecchi, Mehdi Banani, they all scored points. And for our new driver, Rob Holland, his first trophy points as well in his...